Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Women Inspiring Network platform. As you all know, Women Inspiring Network took shape during lockdown, and we're really, really happy. We've had a 10 million reach already. We've done some amazing work, and we felt inspired each day, doing 100 positive women, voices of women during lockdown. We've done a film series, we've done Winning Minds with award winning authors, we've done sustainability with IIT, women entrepreneurship with Jai Hind College. And we're really, really glad that today all of you could join us. For this particular panel discussion, we've collaborated with Deshka Gaurav, that also believes in women empowerment, and they have Mary Com as their brand ambassador. So a big applause to both Women Inspiring Network and Deshka Gaurav for putting this together. Our panelists today include Naina, who's co-founder of Vanity Wagon, Prachi Tehlan, who's represented India in netball and has also got us medals, and now she's an actor. We have Avriti Jain, who has founded the company Dora, and we have Rashi Mal, who's an actor come a dancer. So in your own words, Rashi, tell us a bit about yourself, about your journey, and what has inspired you.
Well, I'm an actor, dancer, and singer-songwriter, and I've dedicated most of my little life to training myself, and I think finding my truest expression, and that's what kind of led me to the performing arts. I was a very inhibited, shy kid, and my quest to rid myself of my own limitations kind of put me on this journey. And I think every day I grow and I learn something new, and it's been fascinating.
And Naina, tell us a bit about your journey. How did you start off? What inspired you to start off Vanity Wagon?
Yeah, sure. So I've always been passionate about beauty. I was a makeup artist for 7 years, and then during my time in UK in 2017, I was introduced to clean beauty, and that's how the idea of Vanity Wagon was born. So I came back to India. I started a marketplace for all clean beauty brands, and yeah, and we've grown since then. The journey has been fantastic, and it's been amazing. So yeah.
And Prachi, I know you've come on the Women Inspiring Network platform earlier last week. And of course, I'm really, really inspired by your story of representing India, especially in the arena of sports. And you've also got our country medal. So tell us a bit about your journey and, now being an actor.
Well, my journey started at a very young age. I've always been tall, as you've already met me. And as a kid, I was pushed to play basketball, and the journey never stopped for 10 to 11 years. I played both for Delhi and for India. And netball as a sport happened to me when I was in college. When my sports director, she kind of encouraged me to play. होता है ना, when you are in college, तो अगर आप एक game में अच्छे होते हो, तो you're pushed to play all the other games to win that vice chancellor trophy in the college. So I was pushed to play netball, though I didn't know anything about the sport. And it happened that, in the same match, I was selected for the Commonwealth Games camp, and then I was trained from the very scratch, and that's how netball happened to me. And I ended up representing India in netball, not just in South Asian championships, but also Commonwealth Games 2010, which happened in Delhi, being the youngest captain of the Indian netball team. I think that was that was the first kick and a high which I got in my life to kind of, I have to do something and I need to inspire people. And, there's nothing that we can't do as women. And, yes. And after that, I had to obviously grow as a professional. Sports eventually took a backseat, and education happened. Did my dual MBA, then was working for Accenture. Is when destiny played its magic and acting happened out of nowhere. Like I'd never thought that I would be an actor. But yes, it happened through Diya Aur Bati Hum on the national television, and just a matter of a week from working in a CP office in Accenture DLF building May, I was on the national television. That was something again drastic which happened in my life, and henceforth, I've been doing a lot of projects as an actor. Have done a very big film opposite Mammootty sir in down south named as Mamangam. I've done a couple of Punjabi films. So yes, I mean, life has been a roller coaster, and it has been amazingly surprising, interesting, adventurous, and I'm really happy whatever I'm doing as of now.
Wow. So it's very apt for us, like Desh Ka Gaurav, like partnering with them. And
Third profession. I mean, ideally, this is the third profession I've been into, and I honestly, I can't myself today, even while talking to you, I can't believe that I've actually done so much.
yeah, sounds amazing. You're
Thank you.
inspiring us again today. And Avriti, tell us a bit about your brand Dhora, your journey. What does Dhora mean? Your inspiration from Rajasthan and Italy. I was reading about it, so I thought I'll ask you.
Yes. So, firstly, I'm just so appalled by everyone's story. Mine is completely opposite of Prachi's. My story has always been planned. I was that child who grew up thinking I will be, in fashion, and this is what I want to do. And when Vogue came to India, I was like, this is it. This is my path. I grew up in Jaipur. I went to a girls' school, so that has always been my world. I didn't know any other way, and because I grew up around jewelry people, so that was my only canvas. I thought I have to express myself in some of the other ways. So it started with the jewelry brand Dhora, and then I took on a concept store called Teatro Dhora, and now we have stores, in a bunch of cities, and that's what I've been doing. But it's always been planned. I wish it was that adventurous as Prachi's, because that's really interesting.
you know what, I always aspired to join army, be a pilot, and that is, I mean, I'm nowhere close to what I thought that I would be doing. So I will it's just how life is.
I think all of us seem to have something in common, where we started on one path and ended up another. I'm a qualified engineer, and then I branched out into the performing arts, dancing, singing, acting, and I don't think I had any clue that that's where life would take me as well. No one in my family has ever been in the performing arts, and I used to think I'm the only crazy person who is doing so many things, even though I don't think they're necessarily mutually exclusive. They're all kind of intertwined in some way or another. I used to think I'm the only crazy person. I'm so happy to meet so many people who are equally adventurous about life and exploring different facets of themselves more than anything else.
Yes. So that's very interesting you bring about, because I run a communications organization and I did it for the longest time. Of course, I'm still doing it, but women leadership, entrepreneurship has been really something which I've been interested in. And it was the lockdown which gave us the opportunity to put together this platform. And we're really, really glad, because I met thousands of women over the last almost 1 year, and we get inspired by everyone's story. As you all know, Women Inspiring Network is a inspirational storytelling platform where we create, share, and inspire the women of our country. It's a movement to pay it forward. So, Naina, I actually want to come back to you. Your brand is all about clean beauty globally. And, and you are, of course, the Chief Innovation Officer. So throw some light on that, because that's even more relevant in today's time when we are talking about pandemic and, how the face of the industry has changed. So please throw some light on that.
Yeah. So, the vision of Vanity Wagon was to, make clean beauty the big thing, make clean beauty the norm. Clean beauty is not exactly, it's actually using products that are, not harmful to your skin or your body, to your health. So when Vanity Wagon started, there were hardly any clean beauty brands. But now, because clean beauty is, Vanity Wagon is, the leader in the clean beauty industry. We have, and so many portals have come up after we started. And I'm so proud to say that Vanity Wagon, is at par. We're making the clean beauty at par with the global economy. So that is something. Then as you said, clean beauty, the idea of clean beauty, as I mentioned to you, it came out of nowhere, but it has just stuck upon there. And when I started Vanity Wagon, I was actually, not sure if it will work, but I wanted to create a community that would educate people, that would educate women who are who are shying away from their skin problems, hair problems, and don't know the products to use, using toxic beauty products on themselves, are into fitness, are eating healthy food, but are applying products that are, that are toxic. So that was the whole idea behind Vanity Wagon. And with the whole pandemic, Vanity Wagon has just grown 5x because people have become more conscious of what they buy, what they put on their skin. And yeah, so we have around now 100, almost 100 brands on Vanity Wagon, which are all clean and cruelty free. Most of them are vegan, so it's a go-to place for everybody who's health conscious. And even if you're not health conscious, I think you should go for products which provide you an alternative, to your the toxic counterparts. So I think that's what we are trying to do here, and we are trying to be as innovative as possible. We have a subscription box, so which is called Bell Box. So if you're new to clean beauty, if you're somebody who's never tried clean beauty products, you can go for our subscription box, which is great, which comes with 5 products, new products every month. So that's how we are being innovative. We have an in-house magazine, which is the only Indian clean beauty magazine in India. So wherein we talk about, clean beauty products, ingredients you should look for, ingredients you should avoid in your skincare, makeup, and and every month we try to bring as innovative and as good brands on our platform, which people are not aware about. We are trying to give a platform to smaller businesses, women-owned, enterprises, women-owned beauty brands, which do not get the platform they should. So bigger portals don't really give you that much importance, right? So Vanity Wagon is your one-stop solution when it comes to clean beauty products, when it comes to cruelty-free beauty products. Whatever you're buying on Vanity Wagon is safe. It's it doesn't harm your skin. It's safe for your babies. It's safe for we also have baby products, so it's safe for pregnant women. And so that way, I think that's what we're trying to do here. We are trying to build a community that can be trusted.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And in fact, what has been your vision for your brand Dora, Arvati, and why do we need more women entrepreneurs today?
So I'll start with how I started Dora. Again, I was studying in Milan. I was doing my master's there, and how you get a GP project. I was just doing a project. I took that one seriously. I came back and I started Dora because I realized that, in Italy, I realized everyone is really good with marketing. Back in the day, we didn't have brands, we all had a craze of wo foreign jayenge, and, this is imported kind of a vibe. It's now that we all are suddenly conscious about local brands, and, there's so many brands. So when I came back, I realized that the skill is here, the craftsmanship is here, but we are not good at marketing yet. We're not good at making a brand. You could just count the number of brands we had back in the day. So that was the whole idea. And as I said, because I was here, so I started with jewelry. And then since then, I started working with different brands who were coming, those were coming up. And then I opened a design theater called Teatro Dora, which means theater of Dora. And that's where we work with all brands, all local brands. So I'll be honest, it's not a conscious decision where we make sure that we're only working with women-owned brands. It's kind of a default which you get in the fashion industry, where that's to do with brands that are mostly owned by women. Buyers are women, stylists are women. The actresses who will actually promote your jewelry will be women. So it's really run and led by women. It's just unfortunately, by the time you come to a middle age group, even your junior staffers will all be women. Most interns are girls, in our industry. It's just post 40, there's a big change in the graph, and then you'll suddenly see that all the CEOs are men, So my only hope, like you said, what's the one change would you like? I would really like that if we could make serious policy changes, I suppose, because I feel life really changes after. I'm not sure how many of you are married here. I'm not. So I can only imagine, so that I feel it does change, at least in our culture. So if we have better policies before and after maternity leaves, I feel we could bring about a change. People will be able to actually reach their goals. I think we all are so motivated as kids we all now grew up in a culture where we all want to do something. We all are doing something. But I guess as life goes by, because our companies or our goals don't support our personal goals, you have to let go of it.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah.
And Prachi, you have, of course, represented India, and now you're an entrepreneur as well as an actress. So, what has been the source of inspiration for you, if you can throw some light? And then, Rashi, I'm going to come back to you asking what has been your, and where do you see a change, of women in your industry? So, Prachi, why don't you throw first light on that?
Honestly, since my child, see, I'm coming from a typical Jat family, wherein the ideal philosophy for the parents for their girl child was that 12th ke baad JBT karo and they should be teachers. That like ideal thing, so that after marriage they can take care of the family as well and also can work. क्योंकि half day होता है in a government teaching school job. But I was, since my childhood, I was so ambitious. Somewhere within me, I wanted to just do something big, something which I haven't seen around me, something which can break those barriers and that those thought processes in my own family, which can inspire my upcoming generation, my cousins, because I was one of the eldest in the family. So I think my family per se, both my parents have been the biggest reason and a motivation of what I'm doing right now, of why I'm doing right now, because somewhere, whatever you start as a professional, the root, that seed is planted within your family ethics and values, and within your family environment. So that is what happened to me. I think my family is a huge inspiration. My grandmom, my nani, is a huge inspiration because she's been a principal of her school and she's won so many awards. I've always seen her handling her family. She got married at a very young age, and she also has won so much of laurels for herself at a very, very young age. And she has been this rough and tough, hardworking woman who could, when we used to go to Rishikesh, she used to jump from the pool and she could swim. Like, my nani is a rock star. So, I mean, I do have a lot of women in my own family who has been, a source of inspiration. So yes, and my family continues to be my inspiration. And moving forward, what I aspire to do in life is just to build a name for myself, wherein leave a legacy that I can be remembered and I can inspire and I can be an inspiration to someone to bring that one change in their life so that they can do something good for themselves, their family, and also for the society.
Wow. And Rashi, where do you think in our industry, in your industry, especially acting and, the diverse fields you've had, the role of women which has changed over the years, and what has been the driving force to build such a successful career as yours?
I was listening to Prachi and I realized that I guess all of us have a similar story in the sense that, while we do have inspiring forces in our life, and my mother is an inspiration for me for sure. She's also a civil engineer, she's a published author. She was trading in the stock market. But what I found repeatedly, a theme recurring in my life, is that I was wanting for strong female role models in my surroundings whom I could look at and learn from, because our social cultural environment is such that it has been largely patriarchal. Girls have been married off at a young age. At least that's what I grew up seeing, and I thought that was the only reality. And as life happened, and I think I felt compelled to discard those boxes that were made for me, and I wanted to explore a life different from what was set out for every other girl that I'd known. And I've made unconventional choices in my life, by virtue of what I'm doing. No one in my family has done that. I don't think I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. I was always creatively inclined, and I was training in all three: singing, acting, dancing, from an early age. But I don't think I ever knew it was a career option till I went down the conventional path of engineering khatam kar liya. I was a good student. I used to enjoy coding, so it happened organically, but it was born out of a desire to find something other than conventional. What has changed in the industry, a change that still has a far way to go, but I've started seeing, is that more women directors have come into the picture. There are more more stories for women being told. There's still a far way to go. There's still a long way to go. But we're moving away from women being relegated to just being arm candy and not really having meaningful contribution in cinema, so to speak. Now we're seeing women producers, we're seeing women writers, we're seeing women directors, and I think it's an exciting time to be a woman actor in this industry. So you get to do something, say something, inspire other people. Cinema is such a visual medium. Music is such a powerful medium. Dance, unfortunately, I feel is still does not have that platform in our country. We're very Bollywood centric as an arts, as a hub for arts. We're very Bollywood centric, So if you're not associated with Bollywood in any capacity, to exist independently is still harder. Music is still making that breakthrough, I think. Dance is far behind. People don't really go and watch dance productions. So I think there's still a lot of work to be done as far as dance is concerned. As far as music is concerned, the indie scene is picking up. So I'm really happy to see that. There's a lot of wonderful female artists who are coming up. So women are making their place. Acting, again, like I said, it's a change. The change has started, and I would only hope to see it grow further and further. In my individual capacity, I always try and take different kinds of roles that have a story to tell, so that even if like one person sees it and gets inspired, or feels like, I remember I did this part where, funnily enough, I was not even the good guy. I was a bike riding, like bully kind of a character. And you will be surprised to know how many girls wrote to me saying, Rashi, we're so happy to see a strong female representation on screen. And it really made me think that what are we feeding the little girls in this country? What are they growing up watching? We need more women representation for sure. And I'm happy to see that networks like this exist so that we can give that to the generations that are coming.
Yeah, in fact, Rashi, I'm really glad that you brought that up. So I actually went for a mentorship program to the United States where you were connected to the C positions, women CEOs or C positions. So, from Ariana Huffington, Sheryl Sandberg, Indra Nui,
Right.
People in private equity firms like Solera Capital. So, and I realized that internationally they had so much more to share. And we are always saying, oh, what's happening in our country? But if each of us take a step towards, sharing what we already have, so we don't have to really depend on any government organization or a big corporate entity to do. We all have to do our bit and, in some way pay it forward. And that was the reason the Women Inspiring Network took shape. And I'm so glad that, in our journey, you've all been a part of it. And I'm going to ask a common question to all of you. And Naina, probably you could start. What has been your biggest learning in your journey? Any obstacles you faced or anything you'd like to share?
Stuti, so about obstacles, yes, as an entrepreneur, you face a lot of challenges, but you have to learn to overcome them and learn from them. And I've just done that. So I have learned from all my challenges, from my failures, and risen above those. So, so these were the challenges. I mean, there were challenges have been many, like, from, if you talk about maybe, as a woman, you face so many challenges, like people don't take you seriously, for starters. So that's one challenge. Then finances could be a challenge, and there are lots of them, so but I've learned to overcome. Talking about the learning as an entrepreneur and as the co-founder of Vanity Wagon, what I have is that you should stay true to your customers, to your clients, to your stakeholders, be honest with them, and you do that, you will go a long way, because building trust is the key of any business, I feel. So, that's very important. And that's one learning that is, I have I've just grown and understood from all my experience so far. So yes, I would say just be honest with your work, be true to your, clients and customers, and you'll go a long way.
Great. And Avriti, would you like to tell us a bit about your learnings in your journey and any tips for the new women entrepreneur out there?
Sure. So I'll start with the obstacles. I completely agree with Naina. Yes, so I started at a very young age. So when I came back to Jaipur, again, a smaller city, so nobody took me seriously. Up to an extent that when I went to get my branding kit ready for my company, the printer told me, paper ye card banana hai. So he was like, why are you taking this high quality paper? Just take a basic paper. Ki ek do saal mein shaadi ho jayegi. Don't spend so much money.
Yeah.
That was like my biggest shocker, that people give you free advice just on the basis of your gender and your age, right? My second would be when I was building stores. So, I had to personally deal with all the karigars, carpenter in every city. And this I saw, especially in Jaipur, not so much in Delhi, Bombay, or even Goa. They won't even look at me in the eye. They would tell me, Baba kahan hai? Haan, jab Papa aayenge to baat karenge. I said, there's no Papa. You have to deal with me. So they, you have to really make these changes, and it's probably not their fault. They just, I don't know, maybe they're coming from a place of respect or whatever it is, but it exists, and that was my learning. My learning was you cannot take this upon yourself. You cannot change them. You have to make a change yourself. These things just fall into place. So just be patient, and I suppose be happy in your entire journey. I've seen as much as people get inspired by each other, there's also a lot of trolling within the brands, within competitors, within women in CEOs and stuff. I feel if we just support each other, we can really grow as a community. So
Prachi, your thoughts?
Talking about criticism, I have like this long list, from being tall, and being an actor. I'm sure Rashi would agree with me that we're constantly judged on how you look, how long your hair is, what is the color of your skin, how your lower portion is heavier than your upper body, how you're taller than most of the actors, or how you're shorter than most of the actors, or how is your left profile or how your right profile looks. Oh God, it is unreal. And trust me, I have always been a super emotional person. And for a person like me to take that kind of shit from people, especially when you're coming from being the captain of the national team and representing yourself, or putting across yourself during the meeting these producers, wherein they'll be like, oh Prachi, ek baar khade hoke dikhao, how tall are you? Can you imagine? I mean, sometimes I feel, and you can't say anything to them because they are the producers. They are putting down the money, and they are eventually the decision makers. And even if you revolt, I mean, even if you take a stand for yourself, nothing is going to change for them. That is a matter of fact. So what you can do is be tough and do something so extraordinary that it's a slap on their face, that see, this is how you treated us, and this is how the reason why you treated us like that. This is the main advantage or a motivation or things which you just get into converting them as an achievement for yourself in your life. So I think there are a lot of examples. I don't want to get into the details, but yes, there's a lot of criticism, and the only way out is to be mentally strong, to have that strong, rock solid willpower for yourself, to be able to deal with these stupid minds when you get outside your home. And I trust me, especially our industry, it's full of foolish people. People say anything and everything, and it's just, now I started treating them like, acha ek kaan sunne ke liye diya hai to dusra it's just. And I was a person who is like really impulsive. I used to react. I mean, it is shown on my face. If somebody says anything to me, it is like, oh my God, what have you said? Let me stand in front of you and I'll give you a tight punch on your face. But it is useless. I mean, these are people who are never going to change. So I've started, I've got that change within me of trying to be patient with these people and trying to just laugh it off, because you can't change the world, but you can. What is in my control is changing my inner self and making myself more stronger to face the world like that. So yes, I mean, talking about criticism, these are some of my examples, and I completely agree with Naina, Rashi, and Avriti, and whatever they said is so true. It is lovely to hear your experiences, and I completely feel you.
Rashi, what about your thoughts, your learnings in your journey, especially acting?
Right.
And yeah.
I think I'm going to add on to what most of them have said. I think criticism is such a huge part of what we do as performing artists in particular. You are judged even before you've opened your mouth. इसके बाद curly है, अच्छा तो इसको तो अच्छी लड़की नहीं बना सकते. Yeah, like I said, such stupid things. Like curly वाले तो सीधे भी हो सकते हैं ना. Like मतलब it's not. You're judged for such stupid things. I've realized that you have to be your biggest cheerleader. Because criticism is going to come, and it's going to come from everybody. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody's going to tell you what you are capable or not capable of. You have to hold on tight to what you want in your life and be your biggest goddamn cheerleader. Surround yourself by people who will cheer you on. Very, very important. You have to have the right people around you. So your support system has to be rock solid, and you and yourself have to be your biggest cheerleader. Second, I would say is resilience. I've noticed that whoever, no matter what they've gone through, if they've stuck it out, they've found their place. And that's a lesson, that I'm learning when I look around. And acting is a long game. It's not, unless you're lucky to be launched by Yash Raj right off the bat.
It's the toughest profession. It's the toughest profession to be in.
People don't realize it. But
no, we would say entrepreneurs here would say entrepreneurs are like thinking about
acting has the added disadvantage of everybody looking at it and saying "Arey tumhe kya karna hai? You just have to look pretty." Arey tumhari life is glamorous.
But each sector, I think you have to toil, and you have to sort of, you have to work hard. You have to have perseverance and passion, and So I'm going to ask you all in one word, okay? In exactly one word or one line, what is that one thing you're proud of? What is Mera Gaurav, Desh Ka Gaurav
I
you're
want
proud
to
of?
add one more thing to what I was saying. I wanted to say that I've learned surrender, because I think we try too hard to control everything in life. And after you've done everything you can, you have to trust and let it go, and trust that whatever best has to happen will happen. Whatever will happen.
I agree with you.
My biggest learning from 2020, and I want to carry it forward into the rest of my years. So surrender. Yes, sorry. Go on, please.
What is that one thing, one line you're proud of what you've done till now? Mera Gaurav, Desh Ka Gaurav. One line or one word. Should I start with you, Avriti?
I'm just thinking, what am I proud of?
Whoever wants to go first. Prachi can say.
I will always be proud of the fact that basketball will always remain my first love, and the feeling of representing India in Commonwealth Games, wearing your national flag on your chest and your family name at the back of your jersey, looking at your national anthem with tears in your eyes. I think that feeling is irreplaceable. Even if I tomorrow do a film with Shah Rukh or Salman, I won't feel as good as I felt in Commonwealth Games and in other tournaments I played outside the country. So I'm really proud of that.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Naina?
amazing.
I think I'm proud of a lot of things, but one thing I'm proud of is that I followed my passion, and I overcame all the challenges, and I worked, and I didn't let myself, stop and just deter from my, achieving my goals. So I've been working towards it, and I'm proud of the fact that nothing has stopped me yet. So yes, I'm proud of that, I think.
Any of you,
Amazing.
Avriti, Rashi?
Yeah, I think, now that you've asked me that question, I was just thinking I'm too hard on myself to be proud of anything. But I do wake up in the morning and I think that, okay, fine, I need to do something today to be proud of today, rather than like a generic figure. Because every day you have to tell yourself, like, okay, be happy because you did this today. Any deed, anything at work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, of course, I totally agree with Naina. I think I'm proud of, my own resilience and the fact that I go after whatever I want and then I get it. But I think more than that, what I would think is, in a time where we're surrounded by so much negativity and anger and hate in the world, when you look around, I'm proud of the fact that I'm conscientious. I introspect. I try to do my bit to make the world a better place in whatever little way that I can.
Yeah.
And be on panels like this and help each other grow. I think I'm proud of the fact that I've held on to those values and those ideals.
So actually, I'm going to throw some light. I'm proud. Like, I founded my company Crosses when I was 23 in Bombay, when you don't think so much. So I feel if you have drive and passion and perseverance, you can do anything. And I was in Bombay, your city, Rashi. And I'm really proud that the Women Inspiring Network took shape the way it has. Especially, we saw an opportunity. It kept us inspired. It kept us motivated last year when everybody was like, what's happening? So that's something which I'm really happy that it was like the right time for this network. And now we've reached the end of our session. So I would like all of you to leave us with a winning message to inspire the winning women of our country. Any message, especially now that the Women's Day is coming, but any winning message which can inspire the women of our country. Who would like to go first?
I think I don't mind going first. It's something that I've heard a speaker called Marissa Peer talk about a lot. And for every girl, because I feel like we don't grow up believing that we are capable. She says one thing, that I am enough. So you are enough. Every girl is enough to make her dreams happen. Everything that you dream of, you are enough to make it happen. You don't need anybody to give you permission to be amazing.
Correct. Absolutely.
Naina?
I just have one
Completely
message.
agree.
Just don't stop yourself from dreaming big, and believe in yourself. Stay confident. Follow what you want to do. You will be successful. Just don't let anything stop you. Just don't.
Avriti?
I agree. I work with a lot of interns. I've been working with them past like 7-8 years, and they are motivated. They are inspired. The one thing which I feel that they forget to do in this journey is to just stay happy. They forget to have fun through this journey. I've personally learned that. I mean, of course, you need to have fun. I agree with all the panelists, but it's very important to just enjoy, because we're all here to eventually enjoy our journey or to feel proud of ourselves. So yeah.
Prachi?
Well, me and Stuti have already spoken about it, and I would like to give my success mantra, which I have always followed in life, to all the women, listening to this conversation here today. It's how to be successful. It's H for hard work, O for opportunity, and W for willpower. I think it's a combination of all the three, which you have to apply in your life and live on to it to be what you are today.
So on that note, thank you so much for joining us today, Prachi, Naina, Rashi, and Avriti. It was a really nice discussion, and it's again inspired me. I think we get inspired each day hearing everybody, and it's also a learning, because we're learning every day we are learning something or the other from someone else. But thank you so much for being on the Women Inspiring Network today, and hope to see you all soon. And happy Women's Day.
Thank you, Stuti. Happy Women's Day to you too,
It
to
was
everyone.
such